All right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It is May the 14th. I'm about 3 minutes early. We're expecting a speech from Powell. He's attending some function in the Netherlands. There's no document printed, but there will be FAQ at the end, so a question period, so anything can happen. We'll keep our ears open, and in the meantime, we're going to go about our business. So let's remove this. Take a peek at the daily chart. Actually, let's look at the calendar first, like we always do. All right, so this is the event we're waiting for. And then followed by total household debt, 42 bill auction, and 52 week. And that's, by then we should be finished. So let's go take a look here. On the daily scale, like we do every day, we compare today with yesterday. And as such, we've already done 55. The average is 55. How much more is there to go? No, we've already fulfilled the average, right? So we have to expect to sell eventually, but maybe from higher, right? The plan's been to sell from 635 for days now, right? We've been planning to get up here for a few days, right? And so that is still the target. If we get there today, we want to become sellers. And so let's go take a look at today on an intraday scale.
Shortly expecting comments on Fed's Powell and ECB's not.
Right. And so this is as a result of this morning's news, the PPI, which came in lukewarm, right? So it's good for the euro. The CPI is the one we're really interested in. And by then, I suspect we'll be up here. And the CPI will come tomorrow and we'll be falling off the 61%. Right, so I'm thinking we have to get up here before the CPI. Okay, so that's kind of the line of thought that we've had since back here. Right, so this was the measure bar or the inside bar that we've been, sorry, the outside bar we've been working with. Right there, right, these two blue lines. And we've been working on the bullish side of this measure bar for over 6 days. We finally broken the bullish side of the measure bar, and we're now targeting 61% to become sellers. All right, so on an hourly scale, we have our floor as a result of this morning's news, about 36 pips away from yesterday. Yeah, 37. And then today we want to be playing the bullish side, but not to the moon, right? We've already fulfilled an average, a daily average. So we're maybe lucky to see a box, maybe two boxes, right? If anything, we want to buy when things are cheap, not when they're expensive, right? So we're not playing breakouts. Okay, so let's put a line there for our ceiling. And then we can reuse kind of yesterday's ladder for the most part. All right, and then we're looking up here to become sellers. All right, so let's go on a 5-minute chart. All right, and the ladder from yesterday is pretty much still in play today. All right. If we come down, we buy and buy. All right. Ultimately, anything above this level here, we sell. All right, so on a 1-minute chart, we can start looking at boxes. We put a box on the most recent swing high, and we can see we've already fulfilled the box. We're within the box, right? And now we're waiting to see how will we come out of this box. Just here in time for 8 o'clock, right? We're near the high of the day. and we suspect there might be a little bit higher highs coming. And so we're willing to buy on the red, right? I just want a little bit deeper red, right? If I assume this is a low, we did not fulfill the box. So I want to see a little bit deeper red to buy, right? Right there. And deeper would be somewhere like closer to the middle of this range. All right, and then if we get, oh, 1.5 boxes, we become sellers up here. All right, that's been the plan for 5 days now. All right, and then we'll let the squawk. If Powell really is moving the market, we'll know why. All right. Sorry, I'm placing trades on my other account. There's one here. If you're wondering what this stuff is, I played the news this morning, or the result of the news. As soon as we hit the bottom, I started to buy. So I made a bunch of trades here, 3 pips, and then I bought a little bit more. 2 minutes later, they closed, and within those 2 minutes, I traded in more 3 pips, which closed a little bit later. And so the news was really successful this morning. And then that led me to now. And here I am buying support again to anticipate higher high, right? Eventually we will be selling. We will be selling the top of the week, right? The weekly high.
Fed's Powell says the US economy has been performing very well.
There's also an ECB member speaking at this conference. Maybe we can watch the video.
Powell says households are in good shape financially.
Oh, I paused it.
Got rising wages,
Powell says
disposable income, consumers are spending. Generally, households are in good shape financially. They're not over levered, and so we see a good picture. Consumer spending has held up very well. As well, business investment has been strong. Businesses are seeing opportunities to invest, and that has helped. I would also point to a fairly large influx of immigration into the country over the past couple of years. Those people are joining the labor force. We're experiencing still a labor shortage in many industries, and so there are jobs, and they're going to work and they're consuming. So that's also boosting growth. So overall, a good picture looking at the data so far. The labor market is very, very strong. It was, I think, overheated a couple of years back, and what we've seen is it coming back in gradually into a better balance over the last couple of years. And now I think if you look at a broad range of data, you could say that the labor market is about as tight as it was before the pandemic in 2019, and that's good. Real wages are now positive, and unemployment has been below 4% for 27 consecutive months, something that hasn't happened in a half century. So labor market very strong, and again, signs of gradual cooling and rebalancing, so that supply and demand of workers is coming back into into balance, just as we would want. Inflation, it's worth starting with the fact that on a 12-month basis, headline inflation got as high as 7.1%, is now down to 2.7%. Core inflation got as high as 5.6% and is now at 2.8%, so it's down by half. That progress, though, really happened over the course of last year, particularly the second half of last year. The first quarter in the United States was notable for its lack of further progress on inflation. We had higher readings in the first quarter and higher than we expected. We did not expect this to be a smooth road, but these were higher than I think anybody expected. And so what that has told us is that we'll need to be patient and let restrictive policy do its work. If I turn to the outlook just for a second, I would say we expect continued growth, 2% or better. We expect the labor market to continue to be strong, but to move further and further into balance. And I expect that inflation will move back down on a monthly level, on a monthly basis, to levels that were more like the lower readings we were having last year. I would say my confidence in that is not as high as it was, having seen these readings in the first 3 months of the year. So we're just going to have to see where the inflation data fall out. And I'll stop there with the economy. Thanks.
All right, we're done.
Digging into
So it looks like we got our first winner of the day. We'll let the ECB member do his bit. We'll let the squawk tell us if there's anything to report.
Not says signs of Eurozone recovery is clearly there.
There we go. And so here we are. We can start buying red candles here.
And Not says the recovery is to accelerate in the second half.
So we're looking for a pullback. We're looking for an entry. We're looking for a reason to get in to be sellers higher. Come on. It's hard to get in when they don't let you. And just go take a peek at the dollar index while we're waiting on this. All right, our dollar index is breaking through its support, and that should lead the way to 103.50, or in that area there. All right, so we have a long ways to go, days. All right, so let's be patient, and let's see what comes of tomorrow's CPI news. CPI might turn that around tomorrow. We're just looking at probabilities. We need to be able to find an entry here. And so if we break up into this upper box, that kind of becomes the new box one. A red candle in this area would allow us an entry in this box one. Right? Currently, the current box one. Oh, there's an entry, almost. We have to be diligent when we don't, because we only have 4 clicks, right? We don't want to be, willy-nilly with the clicks. Pins and needles.
ECB's Not says I'm increasingly confident inflation will converge to the target. And Not says I'm not seeing I am seeing improvement in services inflation.
Oh boy, come on, let me in there. These are the longest minutes. Oh, let me move this back so I have us in the center. There we go. All right, so
ECB's note says, I'm increasingly confident inflation is headed to the 2% goal.
we're climbing up the ladder. All right, so here we have a breakout. We're now in box number 1, the new box number 1. Any kind of a pullback or a retracement on this current candle is an entry. All right there. All right, anything deeper than that, you want to put maybe a second trade on.
And ECB's note says there's a slow but gradual moderation in wage gains.
All right, there's that red candle. All right, so instead of getting caught by the breakout, all right, we're going to participate in it only because we want to sell. We have a target, right? We understand where selling makes sense.
ECB's note says if we manage to continue on these tracks, then it will be appropriate to gradually remove some restrictions.
There's another entry. Let's see what comes.
US March durable orders at plus 0.9% on the previous 2.6%.
There's our second entry here.
ECB's note says June may be a good opportunity for the first rate cut.
All right, so now we have 2 in the upper box, 2 in the lower box.
Fed's Powell says the PPI reading was actually quite mixed.
There's a third one in box number 2. And now I'll put a fourth if I have to.
And Powell says I wouldn't call the PPI reading hot.
That was yesterday's move. All right, are we gonna put click number 3, number 4, we gotta recycle some. Right, we have a higher high. So far, we have a higher low.
Powell, when asked if inflation will prove more persistent, says the Fed doesn't know yet.
They're starting the question period.
Powell says firms still report labor shortages.
Remain bullish, folks. The CPI is the one we care for. And then the PC.
Fed's Powell says restrictive policy may take longer than expected to do its work and bring inflation down.
Why are they so loud? Click number 4 and box number 2. All right, so there's my average. These are trades, this blue line up there, these are trades from 6 days ago.
Fed's pal says the policy rate is restrictive.
Right, do we need another box?
Fed's pal says, I don't think it's likely that the next move would be a rate hike. Fed's pal says it's more likely that we would hold policy rate where it is. Fed's pal says housing inflation has been a bit of a puzzle.
Right, it's okay to book profits and walk away. If you're a green, you know, you don't have to break the bank in one day. Right. Remember,
lags between line and market rates, and it's showing up longer than we thought.
we've met the daily average, right? Our ADR has been fulfilled, and now we're back on top of our measure bar. We broke the high of the measure bar. We're retesting that break. Right? We need to see it hold here. If we go back down, we're going to...
lags from current rents to CPI is longer than we thought.
If we go back below that blue line, that's the high from the measure bar, then we have to find support, right? So we'll have boxes to find support.
Fed's pal says housing services inflation is the one that may take the longest.
All right, so here we are, outside range. Are we making an outside range? And this would be...
Fed's pal says, I am confident we will get there though.
This would be the target right there. There, I'm buying box number 3. There's number 1. There we go. That's 2 in box number 3. And we have an outside range. Start closing some of these trades now. That would be awesome. All right, we're approaching the bottom of the hour. That's when I suspect the pullback will be finished. Might be wrong. No, we could continue all the way back down where we came from. Would not be nice, but could happen.
Taking a look at the Fear and Greed Index, 54 out of 100 equaling neutral, and the Crypto Fear and Greed Index, 66 out of 100 equaling greed. And looking at the VIX, currently up 1.18% at 13.75.
Right, and so we've just closed one winner. That's 2 for today. And we get to recycle that trade on that red candle if it comes back down a little more, right? I don't want to borrow from Peter to pay Paul, so it needs to come back into that bottom box. There we go. Ooh, there, 2. I put 2 there on that red candle, on the current
The
red
US
candle.
dollar gradually extends gains versus the yen as Fed's Powell rules out rate hikes, last up 0.2% at 156.48.
Outside ranges, man. Trader's worst enemy. I'm just going to take this away, make things easier to see. I'm curious to see what comes next. The goal remains the same. We want to sell 835. We may be doing that tomorrow with the PPI, the CPI. I think the goal for today is to play above that blue line, you know, our way towards 835. See if we keep climbing up the ladder. It looks like we're missing a wrong here. Right smack in the middle. Right around here. Between these two.
Kazakhstan's energy ministry says it has not requested a higher level of oil production for next year.
All right, see if we can recycle some of these along the way.
ECB's not says policy divergence could weaken the euro and feed prices. And Not says it's not evident that the Fed policy will have a meaningful impact on Eurozone inflation outlook.
Bottom of the hour is approaching. I have 2 clicks left to spend in that lower box. I want to see if I spend them below the white line. Slow and steady. Put a couple more here.
ECB's not says there's no commitment on rates beyond June, and it depends on the data.
Imagine
Fitch
if,
Ratings saying decelerating income growth will dampen US consumer spending in the second half of 2024.
I was going to say, imagine if the ECB lowers its rates
Al says we've made real progress on inflation.
and Powell is forced to raise his. That would be a divergence in policies, right? Because the US is still doing really, really good compared to the rest of the world. Come on. We're just looking for 3 pips. Gee whiz. Right? They're on to us, boys and girls. We let the cat out of the bag.
So Fitch expects annual consumer spending growth of 1.9% in 2024, a modest slowdown from 2.2% in 2023.
We're trading probabilities, and as such, we have to have the willingness to be wrong on the moment's notice, right? So we're not married to the idea that long is the way to go, right? If I break the bottom of box number 4 here, it's probably a better idea to just go short, right? And so that's kind of the idea we have, right? We have a higher probability on one side, and then we aim to manage the low probability, right? The high probability is supposed to take care of itself, right? We have the targets there. The low probability is determined by what I do here, or will determine what I do here. Waiting to see where I spend these other 2 clicks, or 3. I have 3 here, so I have 1 left. We seem to be testing that breakout. This is that mother bar from 6 days ago, right here. Right, so as long as we remain above this, we're targeting 61 to become sellers. Right? If we can't stay above this, then maybe it's best if we sell our way down. We'll see. Right? We don't want to be chasing things. Right? Remember, the plan is to be in play for the next move, right? So if it's falling right now, right? If it's falling right now, the next move is a leg up, right?
According to Interfax, Putin is to meet China's Xi on May 16.
I should have put the 4th click down there. I was moving my chart around. I'll move this over. No, let's leave it there for now. Let's bring this one. We'll use this as our measuring device. All right, let's close some winners so we can be done on time. Yeah. Powell emphasized higher for longer, and the euro creeped up.
Putin's aide says Putin and Xi will discuss energy issues.
All right, so we're back into the center box now. And bottom of the hours here. This pullback is likely finished, right? There's a high probability that it's over. Let's see if we are correct in our assumption and find our way back up slowly, right? Find our way up here somehow. That would be the plan. And then we want to become sellers up there in time, if we have time, right? We don't have the whole day, although that's what they want you to believe. All right, closing some winners. And remember, you don't want to borrow from Peter to pay Paul. You don't want to take box 3 money and put it into box 2. You know, because if the price comes back down, you're going to need those clicks in that lower box, and you'll have spent them. So it boils down to discipline and patience. Executing the plan. All right, so this is what we're dealing with over here on our 5-minute chart. Beautiful. Keep going. Keep going. Isn't that awesome when a plan just works? Right? Instead of chasing things, plan for the next move, because the current move is always coming to an end. Right? We're just trying to figure where that is. And we measure with boxes, and on average, the end is in box 3 or 4. On average. Right? This was a 1.5 box move, if that. This right here. And for all we know, we can still go down. We don't know the future. We're just measuring the past and expecting the future to more or less replicate, you know, be a close proxy. All right, so now we're recycling box 3 money, or box 2 money. One, two, three, four, 5, 6, maybe 6 winners so far today, maybe 7. It's too many to count. Nice problem to have. So I'm thinking out loud. If I can see red here, I'll buy. Oh, 1,
according to a source who has seen the draft document, a German panel of economic advisors expect growth of 0.2% for 2024.
So I'm just going to move this aside. I'm going to move this aside. I'm going to put this box on that most recent swing high. Put this box on the breakout. We notice we have 1.5 boxes. And so if we assume this is a low, we'll put that box on the low. And now we wait for the break. All right, somewhere in this area here, we would expect to see a break into the upper box, right? Or we go down here somewhere in the future. Let's wait and see what comes next.
Al says it looks like it will take longer to get inflation confidence.
I guess that speech is still ongoing.
And German economic advisors see growth of 0.9% for 2025 in Germany.
Beautiful. Testing our assumptions.
Not says it's not very likely we'll move back to persistently low inflation and low rates.
Yeah, testing our assumptions as cheaply as possible. All right, now we gotta make it to the other side. Curious how long, to see how long that speech is.
Piers Powell says we've seen demand for workers cooling off pretty substantially. We also see wages coming down.
All right, I have 6 open trades in total between 2 boxes. I'll take another. I took 2 more, so now I have 8 open trades between 2 boxes. We're holding above the breakout area. That bodes well for our thesis. Turnaround Tuesday.
Piers Powell repeats that we think it's probably a matter of staying at the current policy rate for longer.
Yeah. are starting to quiet down a little. The bars are starting to shrink. Well, 15 minutes away from the London fix. We'll see what happens then. Would be surprised to see incoming volatility. I think there was a bill auction coming up. Oh, household debt. And then the bill auction. Very simple stuff. Can be life-changing if you just apply it consistently. I think that best attributes traders can have, persistence, definitely one of them. Yeah, can't give up. Right. I have 4 trades in that box there. I have 4 trades in the upper box. I'm waiting to see if I can spend more down here and bring my average somewhere much lower. The trick is to overcome the break even. And you have an opportunity to move that break even by removing a loser or adding a new open trade, right? Or you can do both. A few more minutes, and then we're hoping to see volatility. Right. Holding that breakout area. It looks really good for our idea. We might be selling from up here going into the CPI. Slow and steady. Let's take a peek at the hourly. I'm just at the 4-hour. I'm curious to see. So on the 4-hour, we have 2 green candles back to back. Right, we're breaking that level here. And we do have a target. All right, I'm thinking this right there looks like slowing momentum up, and we should stall higher than where we are currently. All right, slowing momentum up tends to tell us that there's, the next move is likely going to be in the opposite direction. Here we are, recycling some winners. Yeah. Beauty. Feels nice to recycle some trades. You guys following along should be okay. I'll extend this. I'll extend that. All right, so let's see. Okay. I have to wait. If we come back into the original box, I'll recycle the original trades. In here, I have to wait. I have 4 trades. I have 4 trades in the current box. In the box that we've just broken into. And so I have to wait. Those 4 trades came from the original breakout back here. As you can see, there's a ton of discretion with this. It is because of the box that we get to put a lid on that discretion and not go crazy with it. Discretion is necessary for trading. That's the part that the computer can't manage. Otherwise, we program the rules and just let the robots make us money. If it was that easy, I'd be a bazillionaire. Discretion is what makes us rich. All right, let's close a couple more so I can recycle. I have 3, so if I can see a red candle, I have 2. If I can see a red candle, I'll open 2. Now we're testing the upper boundary, right? Our outside range. This now becomes a critical area, right? Are we going to get what we're looking for? A move to the upper side of the box, right? Is this happening today? We've already fulfilled the average daily range. Our dollar index continues to break down right here. Right, so we are in for fun times. Yay. So we have a higher high. There we go. We're almost done for the day as far as the recording is concerned. All right, the plan remains the same. We do want to become sellers as we approach 83.50. Right, that's 61% retracement from the big drop. All right, so as we approach that 61% move area right there, we want to become sellers for the CPI. Right, so it's a matter of finding our way there and then positioning ourselves for the next leg. And we're not looking for a move to the South Pole, maybe a move back to retest the break, like this. Right, so we'll see. We have to get there. We're not there yet. Okay, so as soon as I close this little trade right here, right now, that will be the end of the recording. And we are done. Hey, and James is back from his holiday. Nice, James. Nice to see you, bud. Nice tan. I'm gonna take a picture of this right here, right now, and call it a day. And call it a video. All right, and see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same spot, same everything. Enjoy yourselves. If you're doing futures trading, again, I'm going to try to be online today, but I can't promise anything. Right, 9:30 Eastern. The family gets in the way at that time. We'll see. We'll see. I'll try to see. I'll free myself up. All right. Talk to you then. Bye bye.